Julianne Hartman, and this is my wonderful husband.
Hey.
I have a good opening every time.
Hey.
Butch Hartman.
I write them for her, the openings. How you doing?
And we are Heart to Heart, and we have a very, very special show today. We have a couple who will be going to Africa to uprooting their homes and their child and moving to Africa to become pastors of a church in Namibia. And so this is Mike and Tanya, Amy, and we're
Hey, guys.
thank you guys so much for coming on the show. And
Thanks for having us.
I'm just like in awe. And I have to say first, okay, the word missionary to me when I was growing up, maybe because I was growing up in San Diego, was a very peaceful man walking along the road and with a robe on, a brown robe, and throwing these yellow flowers. And so, right.
Do you guys have a lot of yellow flowers in your life?
Nope, don't even carry flowers.
From the plane, to be throwing those flowers down. And then they say, well, that's how you'd find your way back. But anyway, so I never knew what a missionary was. But when I got to Crenshaw Christian Center, all of a sudden this whole world opened up, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And that's when we met, and then we watched you guys grow. And so, tell us what's going on. What's going on with you guys?
What's
right
a missionary?
now? Yeah, what is a missionary?
Missionary. I mean, a missionary is simply just somebody who just desires to go out to foreign countries, places where Jesus Christ hasn't been taught. People don't know who Jesus is, and they just go out and simply just teach about Christ and the love of God and just share.
That's really all it is.
They're on a
And
mission.
you don't
That's
have to
on a
go
specific
to
time.
Africa. You can do it right here.
Local,
Right here.
absolutely.
I know, and that's where I think that we think that because, it's so romantic to think of someone going to a foreign country, but we have somebody probably living right next door to us that doesn't know Jesus Christ.
We've done it all. We've done the local, we've done the foreign, and we just have a heart for God's people. So
Now, why, just out of curiosity, a lot of people sitting there in the comfort of their own home here in America, watching this on the internet, why do you guys want to go to Africa? Why of all places Africa?
Well, Crenshaw Christian Center was the church we belong to. They have 3 churches. They have one in Los Angeles, which is CCC West. And they have one in New York, Manhattan, New York, which is CCC East. And then they have one in Namibia, which is CCC Namibia.
Okay.
And so we've been asked to take over the church in Namibia.
Wow, that's quite an
The
honor.
pastors who are currently in Namibia are going to New York.
Okay, so you were just sitting at home one day and the phone rang?
on my birthday, actually. Well, it was a couple days
Couple days,
before,
yeah.
and they asked for a meeting on my birthday, and I'm thinking, hey, we weren't doing much anyway,
Right.
and why not? So as we sat in this round table with Pastor Price and First Lady Angel and Mrs. Evans, they proposed to Michael, and
they
I
asked
kind of
us
was like,
to pastor the church and be dean of the school of ministry there.
Wow, that's
So what happened to your body physically when that?
I
did
think
you,
I
did
left.
you like go into
I think I left the building.
I was in awe. I was shocked. I was surprised. We kind of talked about it earlier in the morning before the meeting. What if the possibility that they asked us to go overseas?
But it was so far-fetched. It was
Yeah.
kind of like, haha, that's funny.
Yeah.
Right.
And no. And then, boom.
She cried. She couldn't talk. She was speechless.
I mean, every emotion that you can possibly imagine happened in that instant. And I mean, a matter of seconds. All the what ifs.
Yeah.
But then it's like, why not? All of that at one time.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming, and it's still overwhelming to this day.
Right.
And
Now, how long ago was this?
December 16th, so just 2
Yeah.
months ago.
About
Not
2
even
months
2
ago.
months ago. And everything happened so fast.
So 2 months ago you were asked, and we're
A month later.
and we're taping the show in February 2011. Now, when are you leaving for Namibia?
March 15th, it will be boarding an airplane,
Wow.
flying 24 hours
Yeah.
to Africa.
And you guys have a child, don't
We
you?
have
Yes.
a 19-month-old
Boy or girl?
boy.
And he's going to grow up there.
He'll be
Oh,
growing
it's
up in
so
Africa.
cool.
How about
Yeah.
that? He's going
Exactly.
to grow up in Namibia.
Yeah.
Can you? That to me is part of
Totally
it's a
different
prayer.
culture.
It's a prayer.
How about
answer.
that? I mean,
So-
and now
Now, will you become citizens? I mean, does it work the
No.
same way?
Work permit.
We'll be like a
Oh,
work
okay.
permit, work visa.
Now we have children there. They'll have dual citizenship. So I
but your
think
son,
that's
who's
cool.
born here, is already a citizen of the United
Yes,
States.
yes, yes, yes.
And
yes.
they speak English in Namibia.
They do.
But don't they speak? When we went
Afrikaan.
to Afrikaan, we went to Uganda and they spoke
Luganese or something, yeah.
something. Yeah,
They
some-
speak
some-
German,
some-
Dutch. There's
German,
such a
Dutch,
wide.
yes.
It's a melting
Yeah, yeah,
pot.
yeah.
So he was melting pot in
Yeah.
Namibia.
Yeah.
So now, you guys have been doing this a long time. So let's start back. I know you've been raised at Crenshaw Christian Center. So you both had a desire to do something like this at a very young age.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
go ahead and.
We met in the 5th grade in children's church, so we were always in
that's
church.
so
he was born and raised at
cute.
Crenshaw, and then I came maybe around 9 years old, and We were best friends as kids, and so he was trying to always do what I did. Just kidding. No, but
Including the earrings.
Including, yeah, you see, he has husband. But it was amazing because at 15 we had an opportunity. Dr. Patricia Bailey Jones came to the church and offered the young people an opportunity to go to Jamaica, Jamaica for Jesus, and that was one of the coolest things that anybody could ever do, as far as we were concerned. So we were like the first ones, hands raised, signed up. Let's raise the money and let's go. And that catapulted the rest of our lives. We had, from that trip to date, we have gone out.
Tell us where you've been.
Jamaica, Brazil,
Haiti, Africa, particularly Namibia.
Yeah,
We've been to Haiti. Haiti's quite
It's a
something.
place.
Yeah.
Oh, I think one of the most intense places we've ever been.
You really see what a cursed place that place is and how it's fallen
And
apart.
it's a heaviness. I mean,
It is.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, and we haven't been there since the earthquake. So
we've been since
Yeah,
we went 6
after the
months after
earthquake.
the
Oh.
earthquake.
Well, we went there
That was-
before the earthquake, and then when the earthquake hit, I thought, what could fall
might
down? Everything's
actually
already
look
fallen
better.
down.
No, that's what the people were saying.
Yeah.
The depiction that people had on Haiti was that it was devastating because of the earthquake. No,
Already
Haiti was already devastating.
And well, that's a whole other show.
Right.
Because people that, because we have our foundation, Hartman House, and people go, oh, yeah, that's really, because we would do videos and to
Right.
try to raise money, like, oh, that's so sweet. And no, but we're not going to donate. And then the earthquake comes, everybody wants to
Right.
do something for Haiti. I'm like, hey, Haiti was
We've
the
been doing
same
the
5 years ago.
same way.
Anyway, I don't want to run out of time. So you guys had a heart for this, and you've been to many, many countries. Now, when you go out to do, let's say, the first time you went on your first missions trip, what did you do at 15?
Danced,
Sang.
passed out clothes, toothbrushes.
Toiletries, things.
And what's the
All that
response?
stuff. People cried.
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelming.
By a toothbrush,
Yeah.
a comb. A
Now, when
rag.
you went and danced, are you guys ministering to kids your own age, or were you ministering to adults?
Both, but
Both.
mainly our
Both.
age.
Our age.
Yeah,
Our age was
both.
drawn to us because they were like, wait, you look just like me. You know, so they're like, okay.
I've been hearing a lot of pastors say lately that when they go to minister to underprivileged countries or like to third world countries where they don't have a lot of, let's say, the stuff that we have in this country, it's easier to reach them. Because people here in like the modern world they're more distracted by all the things of the world, by the
Yes.
iPods and the iPads.
Right.
But out there in the bush, it's easier to reach people.
Right.
because-
There's a
They don't really
hunger.
have any more distraction.
There's a
No
hunger.
distraction. They just really want the word. They really
Yeah.
want to hear about Christ, and they want to see how can I take the word and really apply it to my life. And as soon as you give it to them, they go out and they actually start working it.
And they get the results,
And they get results.
instantly. It's awesome.
Well, now, let me ask you another question, too, because, I think that some people think that it's this romantic thing. It's like, when you're pregnant with your first baby, how it's so romantic. And the second one, it's not as romantic because the other baby wants to be
Right.
held. But really, give us, like, the real nuts and bolts of this. I mean, what does this really entail? I mean, first of all, you're not used to eating the food. You're not used to the accommodations. Can you give us? But then also follow it up with how God will just see you through the whole thing. But we really want the nuts and bolts of it.
It depends on where you go. Because there's some places in Africa that can remind you of a Palm Springs, Chino Hills type city. They're not always, just ran down. There have some places that are like that, but it's not all run down. The food, I think the vegetables in Namibia are way better than here in the States. That's just me personally.
There's
Yeah.
a freshness about it.
Yeah.
There's certain things we have to be
stuff like that.
mindful of just because our bodies are not used to it.
Yeah.
the enzymes and things that we don't grow up with that they
Right.
do.
Like the water,
Yeah.
those are
Sure.
huge. Just like you wouldn't go to maybe Haiti and drink the water. You would have to
No,
be really, really
we
mindful.
brought all of our own supplies.
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
went
So, I
down.
mean, for that, there's an adjustment.
But we only went to Haiti for 2 days. You're going to Namibia for quite some time.
Now,
so-
what's your time frame?
When God
Forever?
says move.
Okay.
Whenever
Initially,
it's
it's 2 years, but then
Minimum.
2 years. But we get to choose after that if we want to stay longer or come back. I
No.
think we'll probably end up staying longer.
right.
What about like electronics and stuff? I mean, how do you?
You'd be surprised that they have everything that the states have,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and it costs more.
Costs a little bit more,
but
but
the
you
people
can get
buy
it.
it, which is
Yeah.
kind of scary. But
Now, do you have those? Remember, when we were in Africa, they had those rolling blackouts, and I was actually in the shower, and they had a rolling blackout, and I didn't know what to do.
yeah, they do. They
They
have
do.
they have the rolling black. I mean, all that's real, and it's more intense because you don't have like generators to back you up.
Right.
You're
Right.
literally looking for a
The
candle.
hotel
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
But
right.
you
We're not
won't,
going to be in
yeah.
a hotel, so
We
Yeah.
are. We're getting. Gosh, the these internet shows in such a short amount of time. Is there anything you can say to encourage people out there who are maybe in the same position you are, where like they really have a pull in their heart where they want to go out in the mission field, but they don't really know how to go about starting? Can you give any words of encouragement how to get started?
Start where you are. Yeah. Start where you are. It could be your local neighborhood, grocery store. It could be a family member. Start where you are, because God knows your heart, and He'll honor you where you are. Because we start off at the church, just helping and serving where we were, and had an opportunity to do Jamaica, and then now look. I mean, this is 13 years later. So stick with it, stick with God, and He's got a plan for you. He says in Jeremiah 29:11, He knows the plans before we even born. So.
No, that's true.
Mike, what is in your heart for your ministry in Namibia?
When we were out there, I just really saw a need for reaching out to the young adults and to the children.
Education.
Education-wise, and just programs for them, period. And so I really want to emphasize a lot of that in the church, is to reaching out to the young adults, because they don't really have a place to go except hanging out at clubs, drinking, and smoking, and getting into drugs and violence. And we want to give them something that they can actually come to church, get fed, and see success in their lives.
I think that's awesome, because when we went over there, I realized that it's very hard for kids to get a vision of what the future could be like, because over here we get books, we get movies, we get things. Oh, here's what you could do with your life. But over there really isn't any of that. I mean, there's no real. Hey, they don't really realize there's an outside world unless someone tells them. I mean, are you going to be able to do that with them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we want to be real, raw as possible, but we want to be transparent. Just give them the word. That's how we saw it and what worked for us.
Just even having some of the electronic stuff that you guys have, most of those people have never seen. Some, I'm not saying all, because I know that it's, they have cell phones and stuff like that.
They do.
But it's like, what will you won't set a goal, because you don't know what's further. Your goal may be just to, live next door to the house that you're in now, or the property that you are. But with all the stuff that you guys are bringing with you, it could also open up their eyes to a different world.
And we'll take them back to the Word.
Right.
It's all about what the Word says. In Mark 11:24, and all the things that we've been taught. We're just going to take that and regurgitate it.
We just want to show them that they can access everything that we can.
No matter where you are.
That's the point. Well, guys, look, we have to wrap this up, unfortunately.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited for you guys.
Thank you so much.
We can do, if you guys don't mind, maybe later on in a later show, we could Skype you from Africa.
That sounds so much. That is so cool.
You guys down for that?
That sounds awesome.
Okay. And we Hartman House is building a school in Uganda.
Really?
So maybe we'll make it to Namibia.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
And then we can stay with you.
There you go.
Do you guys have a foundation scripture you want to close the show with? We'd like to have someone with a foundation, have guests have a foundation scripture, if you have one.
Ephesians 3:20. My God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. And I think that for us has been our life. We've never asked, we never really thought about it, but God has just done above and beyond whatever we ever thought of.
Awesome. Well, that is an encouragement.
It
really is.
It really is.
Doesn't matter how old you are.
No, it doesn't.
No. And for anything.
Just start where you are.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
You're gonna close it out, Daddy?
I'll close it out. Yeah, he calls me Daddy because we have kids. All right. So from our heart to yours,
another name. It's another name.
That's right. From our heart to yours is Butch Hartman and Julianne Hartman with Michael and Tanya saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.